How to be in the top 10% in your batch in B score. Fine, I'm going to slightly expand this. The question is top 10%. I'm going to say, look, what should you definitely be in and what should you aim for? Top 10% is brilliant. Fine, so you should definitely be in the top 1/3 of the batch. That's a given. Right? And then you should look to be in the top 20%, then top 10%. Fine, so how should you be in the top 1/3 of the batch? Very simple. Attend all classes. Make sure you're switched on and participating. Submit all reports. Don't play the percentages well. So if you take up a course, you'll know that about 20 marks are for class participation, about 40 marks are for report submission, and the remaining are for taking exams, two of which are very simple. So the differentiating factor between a 3 out of 4 and a 3.5 out of 4 and a 3.8 out of 4, the academic differentiating factor is only from 3.5 to 3.8. You can be the guy who's certified non-genius, who doesn't intuitively get the course and get to 3.5. How do you get there? Participate meaningfully in class, attend all classes, submit all reports really well, nail the 2 basic tests, you're at 3.5. Going to 3.9 could be a big climb which some geniuses get and you probably don't know that, that's all right. But if you get 3.5 in these courses, you're in the top 10% of the batch, not even top 25, top 10 you can go to. And so keep your head above water, be super diligent, be very particular about attending classes and participating meaningfully. Write all reports way ahead of time. Select good teammates. Don't goof off. You're good. When to get to top 1/3, this alone is sufficient. When nothing else you need. Why doesn't everybody be in the top 1/3? Obviously, everybody is not in the top 1/3, right? So it's very clear. One is you have a bunch of people who goof off, for whom reaching the IIM is such a high point of their career. Quite a few IITians fall in this brigade. Who say, look, I'm here, I say, I'm going to rock, or they just switch off and do all kinds of other activities, not genius extracurricular activities, but other activities, and then get derailed. And so that will be about 25% of the batch, guys who have the ability but are not turning up. And very clear. About 20-25% have some stumbling block. They just don't get accounting. So corporate finance goes dead. They don't get basic economics, so macroeconomics goes dead. They don't get marketing, so consumer behavior gets killed, and they don't fill that gap. So they let a big hole be created, neither finance or marketing. About 1/3 of your batch usually fall who says, look, we are so finance guys, we are cool dudes, we are math guys. Correspondingly, there's 1/3 that just hates finance. The cool dude math guys generally they're misguided. The 1/3 that completely gives up on finance, that's even worse. So make sure that you don't let those big holes develop. And so the path to academic excellence or being in the top 1/4 of the batch is very straightforward. Turn up, don't have holes, don't let your life drift, be switched on. Your route to top 1/4 is laid out. I won't say it's guaranteed, but it's laid out. And so that's all you need to do. It's nothing more than that. It is tough to even do this because your life gets packed from day one. And so it is very much about picking your battle. There'll be lots of guys your seniors will come and put pressure on you and say, look, I want to make sure that your resume is verified, come at 12:30, come at 1:30. You'll keep pushing it to the last minute, get it done, submit some variant, fix it the next day, tick the box, then go on to the next activity. Don't go headlong too deep into any activity. There'll be 16 clubs and 14 activities happening in campus all the time. Be engaged in a few of them. Don't switch off and say, I'm here to learn, I won't do all this. That is part of the package. That's how you make friends. But you have to find your balance. You have to find one activity that you are good at, you're happy doing, you have a good gang to do with, and doesn't take 14 hours a week from you. So tick those boxes. Those of you who have a slight anxiety, where you're saying, look, I don't know whether I can cut it here. Just remember that everybody has that feeling. This imposter syndrome is common. Keep that in mind. Second thing, if you feel like there's a bunch of really academically, intellectually sharp guys and I need to compete with them, and I don't think whether I can go toe-to-toe with them, then dial down on your extracurriculars, dial down on being part of the placement committee, being the alumni secretary, being the volunteer for this informal event. Those things are good, but they cannot come at the cost of being in the top 1/4 of the batch. Top 1/4 of the batch opens magically good doors. Those are the doors that you want open when you go to the IIM. So make sure that you are there, you're committed there. Now, the top 10%, the really kick-ass, academically sound, where you're among the toppers in the batch. 400 people in a batch, you're 25th. What does it take to do that? You have to do all this. You have to make sure that there's no gap anywhere. Make sure you submit everything on time. Make sure you don't mess up and switch off in class. You don't sleep off and doze off in class. On top of that, what you need to do, make sure that you have an academic strength or spike in 2 out of 6 courses every term. If you're graded out of 4, all 6 you need to get above 3. There should be 2 that take you to 3.8, 3.9, where you're flirting with being the absolute best in the entire campus. You have that just drags the rest of the scores upwards. So you have got to say, look, I'm the king in probability, or I absolutely have a handle on economics, or operations is totally my thing, or this organizational behavior, I intuitively get it. You have to be one of the guys who's super strong in one of these specializations, who gets it, where you can even see your career going in that path. You have to say, I'm doing that. Second thing you have got to do daily consolidation. Lots of guys live in this engineering college and undergraduation mentality, where you feel like, look, the report has to be done in 6 weeks from now. I'll wake up 4 weeks from now, plan for it. You can't do that. You're preparing for every day. There'll be case studies. Lots of us, 80% of your batch will look at the case study while having breakfast and run into the class. Make sure that you're not embarrassed and come out read the next case study, ask somebody to give you a dump. No, you can't do that. That puts you under pressure. You got to be super disciplined and say, there's a ton of work that needs to be done for tomorrow. My alone sitting and reading case study work, not group work, not with friends, not with the gang. That 1 hour or 1.5 hours of what needs to be done for the next day, finish that before you take up your group commitments. Very often, I see youngsters especially, that they go into and deliver and attend all these meetings at 9 p.m., 10:30 p.m., 11:30 p.m. and all the time. They're part of several groups. And then they come back and say, uske baad I'll read my case studies for the next day, just fall through the crack. You fend for yourself before chipping in for the group. I'm telling all of this to you with the certified record of not having done any of it, or not having done most of it. Hey, but I finished my MBA 20 years ago, so I have the right to come and tell you, please at least learn from my mistake. Fine. Best wishes for your MBA.